Alright, so I'm changing the oil in the Chevy, checking all the fluids, giving it a going over before I run it up to my dad's, and I noticed that there's power steering fluid all in the control arm and in there, and it looks like this line was leaking right around here. I cleaned them off with brake clean, but the oil, fresh oil, was coming out right here. So I'm going to change those. I got a couple of brand new ones that I had in my Ford for a long time. I hope they're still good. But those lines are probably 35 or so years old. I added the power steering to this car off another 59 Chevy, and those are the lines that go between the slave cylinder. That's what pushes the steering linkage back and forth by putting pressure to one line or the other, and moves the cylinder to assist your steering and your power assist. And that's the spool valve, which attaches to the pitman arm, and there's a little that moves in there and just diverts pressure one way or the other to the cylinder to assist in steering. And so we're going to change both those hydraulic lines, seeing that they're probably better than 35 years old, and one of them is leaking. So I'm going to put I had brand new ones in my Horde, so let's get to it here. So I just went and got some light to help, but you use a line wrench, and if I can, might have to take this one off first. That one's loose. I'm just going to break them all loose, and then I'm going to go get a open end wrench to take them off. I might have to take that one off to get the line wrench. Oh, there we go. Just turn it over. Alright, so they're loose. So let me get a regular wrench and we'll get those things off. Probably going to lose some fluid and I'll have to purge the system out, but so be it. I'll give it a chance to get some new fluid in the system. Just don't want issues with going somewhere and having a line blow or something. The power steering pump is driven off the back of the generator, and it only has one belt for the water pump and generator. So, you know, if I had to take the belt off, then I'm kind of not having a water pump running. I'm not worried about the generator not charging. I could run off the battery, but running off the without the water pump going wouldn't be good. Getting a wrench on this one's a little harder. There we go. So this is going to get some new fluid in the pump, which I guess after 30 years probably won't hurt either, because I think that pretty much all the fluid from the pump is running out right now. Maybe we'll put this line on first, seeing that other line trying to get these started. Here, I gotta move the camera, I'm hitting it. I gotta get my arm in there so I can start the line. So I'll get them started and we'll turn the video back on. So the new lines are on, and I cleaned it up with some brake clean so that I don't, you know, so I can see if it's leaking. So I'll put the drain plug back in and put the oil in the engine and the fluid in the pump, and we'll crank it up and turn the wheel and bleed the system out. You can see here how the power steering is driven off the back of the generator, and that pump is, I think all the fluid is in that drain pan on the floor. Yeah, you can see the filter down in there, but no fluid. So we'll top that puppy off and get this thing finished off. So I had to turn the wheels all the way to the left to be able to get the line wrench on these enough to tighten them up good enough to where they didn't leak. But I don't see any leaks in there right now, so I think that was it. I've turned the wheel lock to lock numerous times and made sure the pump is full. So I think we're doing pretty good here. We'll call that fixed. Well, I jacked it up to check the gear oil and stuff. So to check, you can see the little gearbox in this thing. It's a Muncie 318 3-speed manual, and you fill it until it comes out that hole. It holds about a quart, and you can kind of see the underside of the engine here. I just thought maybe some of my viewers might be interested in looking. While I was just doing that, I oiled all the pulleys and things for the parking brake, and I put control arm bushings in this car probably 30 or so years ago, so that's why those look new. But yeah, that's the road draft tube, so when the air is blowing under the car, and you see it's cut on kind of an angle, so the air draws a vacuum and the crankcase draws the fumes out of the crankcase and through the inlet's oil cap on top of the engine. When you turn the engine off, the smoke kind of bellows out of that. So I just thought I'd show the underneath here a little bit. And this is the other side of the gearbox, all the shift linkage and stuff that's attached to it, the oil filter. I took the canister off and put a spin on that. Canister was just a pain to deal with, so there you go, just a little bit of the underside of where the engine and transmission are. You can kind of see, you know, things are pretty clean under here. You can still see the paint on the steel, still bare steel in places on the chassis, so where all the grease and oils have protected it over the years. The oil pan leaks were those rubber, I'll show you. So you can kind of see it starting to seep a little oil out of there right now. I wiped it out, but there's a rubber seal on both ends of the oil pan. The gaskets don't leak, but this rubber seal between the pan and the timing cover and between the pan and the rear main bearing cap leak oil. The seals, neither the rear main or the front main leak, and the oil pan gaskets don't leak. It's this, the rubber on both ends. So, you know, I could drop the oil pan and reseal it, but what little it leaks, I don't really bother. If I ever have to pull the engine, overhaul it, obviously it'll get resealed. So we got pretty much, well, I think all the leaks fixed here. We got the power steering lines on, I got it bled, and so we're ready to go. And the power steering pump is full. That's as full as I put it, because when it gets hot it overflows out of the neck. Is too small for it to, you know, full would be up in that neck a little bit, but then the fluid expands and it goes everywhere. The 58 had a longer neck, and the 55, 6, and 7 had a bigger round one, and 60 they had a belt driven pump down here separate from the generator. So let me oil the oilers on the generator. We got an oiler here, and one on the distributor, and then I'm done doing the maintenance on the car. We'll be ready to go up to Dad's. To oil the oilers, I use my trusty squirt can, and you can grab those things with the tip of the oil squirt can, and then you just fill the oiler, put oil in it until the oiler's full, right up to the top there. It's as simple as that. So let me try and hold the camera a little more still here. I'm getting oil on the generator. I'll have to wipe that up, but there, you can see the oil's right up to the top of the oiler, I think. We'll call that good. and I'll hit the one on the distributor too. And that's the oiler on the distributor. It's a little more of a pain to get at, but just put some oil in it too. It just dripped out, so I'll wipe the excess that dripped out off. Just keeps things neater. So there we go. We got there, that shows up the little oiler. So there, the car's ready for taking up to my dad's. I just throw the air cleaner back on it. So this is the intake for the crankcase ventilation. I showed you the road draft where it draws out. This is where it draws in, and you clean these and oil them, and that filters the air that goes in the crankcase so you don't get dirt in your engine. And I don't know if you can see down in the, let me see if I can get the light such. Yeah, I don't know, it's pretty clean in there, so it's been maintained. And this just pushes on. That's it. Alright. And one last note here, I got the truck back today. So this was all smashed along here. The headlight was smashed. And it had hit the tire, the trailer, the boat. I think the rub rail, it hit here because it put a nice crease down the fender. And pretty much all took the paint and scuffed it all up along here. When the trailer tire hit the wheel, and it did knock the front end out of alignment, so the body shop repaired the fender, replaced the headlight, and then they did a front end alignment. I think they had to replace something in the, I'll have to look at the repair bill, but they did have to replace something in there, and they rebalanced the tire. That when they ran it on the machine, the wheel wasn't bent, tire wasn't damaged, but it must just cause weight to come off or something, because it shimmied after that, and it doesn't now. It drives down the road like a brand new truck. So it's a 2008. I bought it new at J.C. Lewis Ford in Savannah, Georgia. I use it for towing and hauling stuff. Other than that, it pretty much all just sits here and collects dust. And so anyway, yeah, it's all. Oh, and I had the windshield replaced too. It had a stone crack. Stone had hit it way down here, and it had a crack like right here. And it really didn't bother me, but I thought as long as it was in the body shop being repaired, I'd have that replaced too. So they put a windshield in it, and it still says the F-150 up on the so it is a Ford windshield. The aftermarket, or if you go to these other places, Ford, that's proprietary to Ford, so if you go elsewhere you don't get that. And so it's all completely done. Really super happy. The other headlight's like new, so yeah, they're both perfect, so it doesn't look any different. Yeah, it even looks good here. They did a really nice job. I took it to Royal Oak Ford. They did an excellent job. There's the 4.6 liter engine. I had to have the intake manifold replaced on this past winter. It cracked and was leaking coolant everywhere. And I had the Ford dealer do that too, because it had a rough idle since it was new, and it had a crack where it was a vacuum leak, and they think it was a manufacturing defect. But when the other crack was where the thermostat kind of, well, no light in there. But anyway, all good. One last thing, while they had it, they informed me that the axle seal is leaking, and it certainly is. They wanted close to $500 to fix that, so I'm going to do it myself. So maybe when I get to it, I'll make a video on it. It's pretty easy to do, so it's, you know, probably will cost me about $10 or $12 to fix that. Well, with the gear lube, maybe 20 bucks. It's got 90,000 miles. I changed the gear oil at 50, so I'll change the gear oil too when I do that. I'd try and do the gear oil every 50,000 miles on this because I tow with it. And I have the trans flushed at every 30,000. So, alright, and a little bit on the F-150. Hit the like button if you enjoyed my video. If you enjoy my channel, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.